All right. Well, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Thank you all for being here today. So I just want to acknowledge, so I'm Paul Kendrick, community rep. It's a rare thing where our chair and vice chair both had conflicts today, including a Lincoln Park High School track meet and different things. So I've never facilitated one of these before, and if I get anything wrong, just tell me what I'm not doing right. I've been to 3 years with them, but I'm sure I'm going to forget. But let's go around for a roll call. Ms. Hurd, if you want to start us off.
Veronica Hurd, non-teacher rep.
Ashley Stapleton, parent rep.
Jeff Militante, parent rep.
Leslie Gonzalez, parent rep.
Paul Kendrick, community rep.
Eric Steimler, principal.
Eric Cromer, teacher rep.
Sarah Levingood, teacher rep.
Amy Martin, parent rep.
All right, and then Amy Zimenick is online. Can I have a motion, since we have quorum in the room, to have Amy participate online?
I'll make that motion.
All right, second.
Second.
All right, Amy, you're in.
No, we have to vote.
Oh, sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Amy, you're in. But I hope you enjoy the track meet. To review of last month's minutes and approval of them. Have those went around, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you. So can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I second that.
All right. All those in favor? Opposed? All right. Minutes are approved. Thank you so much, Jeff, as always, for putting those together. Okay. So we have public participation now. So what that means is that anyone can come up to speak for 2 minutes. So we do have to keep you that time. And just so folks know, if they haven't been to a meeting before, we can't respond to your, whatever it is you may say, no matter how much we may agree or not. But just the format is that we're going to hear what you have to say. And then later we can, people could motion to have it on an agenda in this meeting or a future meeting. But just want you to know, if you don't get a reaction, why that is. So let's open it up to public participation. For whoever. All right. Thank you, Sarah. We'll keep the time. And again, sorry that we do have to cut you off at 2 minutes. Sometimes people will be making a tremendously compelling point, and I feel bad, but we have to keep the 2 minutes. Yes, you will get a 30-second warning. Okay, sure. Yeah, you go up to the mic up here. Sorry. Yeah.
Does this work?
Yeah, the P is for the online.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Good evening, members of the council. My name is Alexandra Metelka. I am here to speak today about why it is very important to keep our Arabic program here at Lincoln Park High School. Arabic is not just another elective class. It is one of the most widely spoken and influential languages in the world, spoken by hundreds of millions of people across many countries. It is a language of history, culture, business, diplomacy, and connection. In today's world, learning Arabic opens doors for students academically, professionally, and personally. But beyond that, the program here at Lincoln Park High School has been something even more meaningful for our school community. Like Arab students myself, the Arabic program has given us a chance to connect with our heritage, our family, and our identity. It allows us to feel seen and represented in our education. At the same time, it has also brought hundreds of non-Arab students into our culture in such a positive way. I've seen students from all backgrounds in learning the language, understanding traditions, and building friendships that they may have never formed otherwise. A huge part of that impact comes from our teacher, Dr. Luque. Dr. Luque has made this class way more than just learning vocabulary and grammar. He creates an environment where students feel supported, respected, and truly excited to learn. His passion for teaching inspires almost all of our students every single day, and the program would not have the same effect without his dedication. This class has personally changed me. It has helped me grow more confident in who I am and more connected in my culture. And I know many other students feel the same way, both Arab and non-Arab. Programs like this build understanding and diversity within a school, and that's something every community should value. Removing the Arabic program would not just be removing a language class, it'd be removing opportunities, representation, cultural understanding, and important space where students feel connected and included. I strongly urge the council to continue supporting and protecting the Arabic program for current students and future generations. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right. Who would like to go next?
I just talk.
Yep.
Hi. My name is Philip Draskovic. Speaking also on the point of Arabic, I'm someone who's been impacted and benefited through languages more broadly throughout my whole life. I'm someone who's spoken two languages from practically since I was born, and I've learned two since. And I just feel that for a language as my extended essay, as well, was written on the psychological impact of biliteracy, and I just feel that the taking away of a language like as intricate as Arabic is doing a disservice to students who, whether they have a connection culturally to it or just have a curiosity to a language as unique as it, would be just a dishonest to future LP students.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm a parent, Mandy Shaw. I thought I could ask a question and get a response, but since I can't, I would like to express my concern with the lack of follow through or accountability for the school for unexcused absences. My daughter cuts class and nothing has happened. I've never gotten a call home. And I know for a fact she's done. There seems to be no accountability and no follow through from the school. I'm not sure who's supposed to be doing it, but it's not happening. So as a parent, I think that the school needs to take more responsibility for these kids who are cutting class with impunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isha.
So I'm Gina Tramarco, and I'm a volunteer with AFS. AFS is our exchange program, and we're here today on behalf of AFS to thank Dr. Steinmiller, our counselor, Miss Murphy, English teacher, Miss Dawn Gluns, who has an AFS club, and the rest of the teachers and counselors and staff of Lincoln Park High School, and to present what's called the Medallion Program Certificate. AFS is a student exchange program that has been facilitating student exchange since 1947 in 99 countries. The U.S. Department of State created the Medallion Program, which recognizes high schools that champion academic and cultural enrichment by hosting YES, FLEX, and CBYX students, as well as our core students. These programs are AFS-related scholarship programs focusing on countries of strategic importance to allow the opportunity for students to study in the U.S. for a year. And by hosting exchange students, high schools help create meaningful connections between cultures and countries. So we thank you. And this year, Dr. Steinmiller and your staff have welcomed 8 of our students. So I'd like to have each student come up and introduce themselves, tell which country they're from, and a little bit about what they like about Lincoln Park. But before I do that real quick, I just want to introduce the host parents that are in the room. Carl?
Oh. Thank you, Carl.
Got to mention that hosting Tawana from Germany, and Susie Linker is our extraordinary volunteer. Okay, so if the students would like to come up one by one, and if you don't mind, we'll take
So do we, I have a question. Do we start 2 minutes over for every?
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, all right.
That feels
Thanks.
right.
No problem.
Hi everyone, my name is Max. I'm from France. So this year I was a senior, supposed to
more I get graduation. It was a great year. I really love the school. I joined the football team, the lacrosse team, so I'm really glad I could join this school. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Active and hosted from Germany. Technically, I'm Turkish though, so I speak both languages. I'm really thankful that I could join Lincoln Park because here I joined the water polo team with my beautiful captain sitting in the back. Then I also joined the cheer team, which I'm really thankful for. And this year I was also a senior, and I'm graduating tomorrow, which I'm really thankful because I'll not get this experience in Germany because it's a little boring. But thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to come to Lincoln Park. Thank you.
Right. What was the other language you said you speak?
Turkish.
Oh, okay.
Hi, my name is Kiz Asmin, and I'm a senior here. I'm graduating this Friday with all my friends today. And I'm just very thankful for Lincoln Park for having me. I joined Lincoln Park on January 26th, which is kind of late for everyone else, but I still enjoy every moment I'm here. I joined badminton teams and I learned orchestra. I played the violin and I joined a concert before. It was such a moment for me because I can never do that in my country before. So I think what I learned here, all the teachers, all the staff, they're also nice, and I just so thankful for everyone that has contributed for me to be able to be a part of this exchange program. And I'm also thankful. Mhm. And I just want to say thank you to all, and may life brought us apart. May life brought us again together after this. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Which country are you from?
I'm from Malaysia.
Malaysia. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Liv. I'm from Germany. I've been here for the whole year. I'm technically a sophomore, but I'm also graduating right now. The experience.
Wow.
Kind of cheating the game, but I did cheer and I did swimming for the summer season. I love both very much. I think it's very cool sports. I don't do them in Germany, so it was first time experience. Yeah, I love everything here. I love the people. I love the teachers a lot, and I'm very thankful for the experience. Yeah.
Good evening, I'm Mark, and I'm from Italy. I'm a junior in this school, and I was in the track team. I'm thankful for studying here in the school because it's great. It's fantastic, really. Also, the sport is really great. So I'm really thankful for everyone here and for the principal. Thank you so much for hosting us.
Good evening. I'm Henrique Rocha. I'm from Portugal. I'm a senior at Lincoln Park. I was on the swim team, and I did JROTC, where I was part of the Lat 1 drill team, the Saber team, and Raiders team. I really like LP. I was really glad I got into this school. I love the fact that you guys have all these sports, all these clubs, all these activities, especially JROTC. Not a lot of schools in Chicago have JROTC. It's something that I really enjoy, something that I'm really dedicated to. So I'm really glad I got into this, and it's a school in a really nice neighborhood, so I couldn't have asked for a better school. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Muhammad Irshaduddin. I'm Irshad. I'm from Malaysia. I'm a senior here too, and I'll be graduating tomorrow. And first of all, I want to say thank you so much for having me as an exchange student here. I'm really grateful for having me because like here in Lincoln Park High School, I have a lot of opportunities that I don't have in my country back. For example, I really love music, and I always want to like learn piano, wind instrument, string instrument. And here in LP, I can play trumpet. I can have piano classes for free, and I'm really grateful for that. And people here are very nice. I always dream when I was a kid. I always dream like to go to America. When I watch the movie, the American movie, I always want to experience American high school, and here I am. I'm so grateful for that. And yeah, I think the best thing in my life is going to LP in the United States. Thank you so much.
Council. As a law student, I would like to thank all of you to be here and listening us. I'm Celine Balaman. I'm from Turkey. I spent my whole year in LP, and I try my best to represent the school in wrestling team. We made regionals. We tried our best in the wrestling team, and I personally got into different programs in UIC and Northwestern in order to represent LP in the future too. But these are all because I was a part of LP student. I'm so thankful to be in this school, and thank you for giving us a chance personally and for all of the other exchange students. Not all of the Chicago high schools are accepting exchange students from all the world, but thank you for having us here, listening us. Best part of LP maybe was this kind of teachers who literally listens us, cares about the students, and gives us a chance to represent ourselves. So thank you for being here. I have the certificate.
Wow. Yeah. Get out of the way.
Are you gonna photo bomb?
Wow. Wow. You all are exceptional. That was, I am ever more hopeful about the future, having heard from all of you. So thank you for being part of the LP community. Yes, yes. Enjoy. Thank you so much. That was incredible. Really, really special. Thank you. Congrats.
Have fun at graduation tomorrow.
You're always LP family. What? I know. That was like one of my favorite things ever happened in an LSC meeting.
At least I wasn't the only one. I was like, okay, here, don't fall.
Oh, yeah.
I think we have a few more.
All right. Back to regularly scheduled program. Are there other public participations?
Take the virtual public participation.
Not yet. But we will.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Federico Luca Macias. I'm the Arabic and Spanish, one of the Spanish teachers here at Lincoln Park, and I have been teaching Arabic within the International Baccalaureate Framework since 2017, so nearly 10 years now. So I'm here because the Arabic program is at risk of closure due to enrollment thresholds that, if continued within 2 years, I want to be direct about what that means. This school is the only one in Chicago with an International Baccalaureate program. The Arabic program here is part of that IB sequence. Students in Arabic 3 and 4 are pursuing IB credentials that appear on their university applications. Closing this program does not just eliminate a language class, it eliminates an academic pathway that exists nowhere else in this city. Arabic is a federally designated critical need language. The U.S. Secretaries of State, Education and Defense have maintained that designation for nearly 2 decades. 2 weeks ago, on May 5th, the Illinois Senate Education Committee voted 12-0 to pass a resolution making Arabic a state priority language for K-12 education. I initiated that resolution, and I was there to testify. The program at this school was part of the testimony that supported that vote. Across all of Illinois, fewer than 500 students have access to Arabic instruction. We are one of the 3 CPS schools that offer it. In the entire state, only 7 certified Arabic teachers are actively teaching. If the program closes, it will not come back. The teacher pipeline nationwide is contracting, not growing. Been built here over 9 years or 10 cannot be rebuilt by posting a job listing. I'm asking this council to request transparent review of how the enrollment threshold was applied to Arabic 1 this year, to examine whether that threshold created a decline it is now being used to justify, and to support reopening Arabic 1 next year. The state says we need more of this, not less. I hope this council will agree. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public participation in this room? Oh, of course. Thank you.
For you to get an idea of the variety of programs, variety of classes students have access to, both from the advanced placement, AD, and BIB, and also of the and I want to thank very much Dr. Steiner for supporting it, supporting particularly the community program, but particularly the practice. And then also any of the classes or things like that. So at that time, you can use space. And I just heard that very much IB and they and conduct in school. You got a wonderful opportunity that have been given that university credit for doing these, but even as they're applying to college, this gives students much better. And also, I think I'm sure just take a look at any one of these classes. I think you that basically Wednesday, Wednesday 6 in the afternoon, the freshman building different for IB psychology. Well, after that, that is down. Then it has to go back up the next one. So every time you see something like that, just realize it's not getting the group that it's down, you pick them up, and it went without it. So, thanks for that.
No, thank you, Mr. Thank you, Ms. Frank.
So my name is Leslie. I'm a parent here, and I just wanted to kind of speak of the Arabic program. I really don't know much of or about it, but knowing that, we just recently in the Spirit Wear had some sweaters made, and it's like, I don't know, just knowing that something might stop, it's sad. And I guess my thought would be we have students that go for band or chorus or theater and they're picked out, and maybe there's something we can do in that way for like Arabic, like so many students that sign up for the 4 years could go in the program or just something. I feel like we got to think out the box a bit, because it'd be something very sad and disappointing just to watch something like that out of almost 10 years just leave Lincoln Park. That's all I need to say.
Thank you, Leslie. Anyone else in the room? All right. Would anyone online like to make a comment? Zaid? Sorry, we don't. Oh, sorry, we can't hear you yet. In case you're talking. All right, great. Zaid, if you want to unmute. Or...
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you.
Perfect. Hello. Hi everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Zaid Khan. I'm a alumni of Lincoln Park High School. I graduated back in the year of 2023. I'm speaking on behalf of the Arabic program for Lincoln Park, and yeah, just Arabic has had such a big impact on me in my personal life. As a Muslim in America, I've grown up with a Pakistani and Indian heritage, and Arabic has been a big part of my life in terms of just getting closer to the religion, as it is the main language for Islam. And overall, like one of the biggest reasons why I decided to go to Lincoln Park in the first place was because Arabic is being served as a language. My language that I grew up reading and not really understanding is finally I'm able to get access to learn a language of that sort. And to me, it's become a very big impact personally for me because I've been able to, ever since I graduated, I'm currently a student at Loyola University. I just finished up my third year. I'm going to start my senior year in the next couple months. And it's really helped me in embracing like the Arab culture and just having more of a better understanding of what Arabic means to the world. It's also one, I believe, in the top 5 of the most spoken languages in the world. And
30 seconds.
And it means a lot to me. And really just, even though I'm not a student anymore at Lincoln Park High School, I think that it's important for not just diversity reasons, but also for representation to keep Arabic as a language. And I think someone else earlier said that they were talking about how if there's like, a way to go out of the box with, applying Arabic in a more prevalent way in the school system, I think it would be very much helpful. Hopefully I didn't take up too much of your guys' time. Those are at least my thoughts. Thank you guys for letting me speak.
Thank you so much for staying engaged with LP.
Of course.
Anyone else on the call? Oh. Is it okay? Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. I would love to hear what it is, but
She can speak at the end, right?
But at the end,
Yeah, at the
you
end,
can.
it's open.
Oh, okay. Are we sure she can't? Okay. All right. Sorry, Miss Turkey. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So thank you all for your participation. Celebrations. Well, we certainly have a big one coming tomorrow, but are there celebrations, things we want to celebrate at LP? Do we want to shout out?
A lot of the sports went into like playoffs. Volleyball went to play Lane, not Lane, Taft, and they're a very, very good team. Looks like we will win, and we fought very like a hard second match trying to stay in it. So we see a lot of that with a lot of our sports and a lot of our different things, but also just our students. Now they're getting excited about what schools and colleges they're going to. That's so we're getting some of those announcements, even final determination of what's going on. So those are just, in short, some things going. It's just great.
Thank you, Principal Steinmiller. Anything else anyone wants to shout out? All right. Well. Okay.
On that same topic, 3 of my students played the state semifinal soccer last Saturday, I believe, and they didn't win, but it was already like a big thing to do. One of them is actually an Arabic senior graduating now, and the other 2 are Spanish 1 freshmen. So we have a very good women's soccer team, and I think they're going to be very successful
Good.
moving forward.
Thank you.
They are already, right?
Yes. Love it. All right. Well, again, congratulations to all the graduates, all the educators who've gotten them there. Definitely a special time at the school. So, all right. So we're going to take a vote on the principal evaluation. So this has been a month-long process of asking for surveys in the community, interviewing different people in the LP community. It's not something that is publicly shared, but we've met with Principal Steinmiller, reviewed his feedback, his self-evaluation, and made our final evaluation that will be submitted to CPS. So can I have a motion to accept and formalize our principal evaluation?
I so move.
I second that.
All right. All those in favor? All those opposed? All right. Motion passes, and the principal evaluation. Oh,
Up the screen.
Amy approved on the screen. So the principal evaluation is completed and will be submitted through the proper channels.
All right, I'm going.
Sorry, my laptop just shut off. What was next? You have the agenda on? Yeah.
Principal report.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, sorry.
Is there anyone here to give a report for Friends Up?
I just have a quick update with the Friends of. They have recently had their gala, and they made a nice little chunk of change, which is great. There was a packed house, from what I hear, and they're already working on next year's calendar. So that's exciting. There are some open spots if anybody's looking to help out some more. But yeah, that's the quickest update I can give.
And funding for the Christmas.
So yes, they were talking about the funding. They just weren't sure if they were going to go A or B, but they are funding that, and the speakers as well at some amount, like some cap. So that was also something they had mentioned.
They also funded every year our seniors get their graduation shirts. This year was Sam Kirk, an artist from Chicago area, Puerto Rican artist. And just really, she has really powerful art around her identity. So that's the shirt design for our students. And thank you for quickly getting the design and redesign and all the formatting done so that our students could see them. And that was pretty awesome. A pretty amazing shirt. So thank you.
Can I just ask a question? I mean, I'm sure she's a lovely artist and the shirt is lovely, but how come they don't have like a senior? I'm sure we have like super talented art students here.
So there is a senior shirt that the seniors do. It's more of a competition, and they vote, and whoever has the most votes, the seniors actually pay for their t-shirts. These are given by the Friends Up.
So 2 shirts.
Yes.
Yeah, the other shirts in the fall that they designed and did the competition for, and this is the gift to the students.
Well, thank you for your involvement there. That's really exciting. All right, principal report.
Got it. I've got 3 major things that I'll go through. First is we have hired our athletic director. His name is Craig Shaman. He has years and years of experience. He actually started in Chicago public schools, went out to Michigan City in Indiana, and was there over 15 years as their athletic director. Wanted to come make his way back into Chicago. He kind of started his journey. In transition, was at Forest Park for 2 years as an assistant AD. And now he's taking over as our head athletic director, and I think he's going to be a good individual for taking us where our team has gone in 2 years, and really starting to push how can we start being more on par with the suburban experience. I know that's not a realistic short-term goal, but it is something that we want to keep striving towards. But he has a lot of experience with coaching. Morgan City, originally. And
Does he realize the budget he has in CPS?
he does. That was a very clear part of the interview process. So, so that was one of the big items on it. I just want to give you an update on that. I would like to go. I'll focus on just some comments around the Arabic and how we're moving forward with that. But when I talk about the budget, you'll understand exactly why these decisions have to be made. And so I think it'll just inform it. I thought about the flip-flop, but I think this will probably be a better way. I, too, want to have a thriving and prosperous Arabic program. Regretfully, we have seen a decline in interest, and that we have to have enrollment to be able to make sure the program continues. An example last year, when students first submitted interest in being in the Arabic, we initially had just 7 students who wanted it as their first choice. We did have quite a few who wanted it as their second choice. But our goal, if you're going to learn a language for 4 years, is that you take the language you're most interested in taking. And so it didn't make. We didn't have an Arabic 1. We did have an Arabic 2 class, and that had 19 students in it. And when I talk about these numbers you're going to hear when we talk about our budget, which is a very serious conversation, that's not a lot of students. When you have 19 in a single class, that means another language is going to have a larger size class. We have had a total of 20 students in the entire Arabic program this year, in our entire school.
So that's the 19 that's in year 2.
And then there's one seat. So there are no juniors. Every year we've been trying to like promote it, push it, make it into a program. There was one year we actually funneled students into the program so the class would make with 28, and a good percentage of the students started with a different language first. And so that is something where it's very important that student voice and choice determines how we move forward, and we've been trying for years. And we can no longer do that, especially as I get to the budget conversation. You're going to see where there is literally no room for error and then what our classes have to look like. We invested over $100,000 in grants trying to help promote the program, and we are still in a position where we have 20 students. Arabic is our lowest performing IB language program. While many of our programs are at or above the world average, IB Arabic SL and BSL are 2.0 compared to 4.7 for Arabic ABSL and 5.7 for Arabic BHL. It's not performing.
What is the 4.7 in that?
That's the rest of the world's average scores in IB. We are underperforming.
I'm just curious because Ms. Tookie passed this out where it shows like the number of students maybe taking the exams. So when I see like Mandarin only has 13 or whatever, does that mean there's just as few students almost doing the Mandarin program as there are doing the Arabic, or is that just
the Mandarin program is actually we have is overflow. Like
okay.
It's just because they're not taking the exam in IB does not mean. So the teacher has a combined class for IB and for students who want to be in, let's say, Mandarin 4. So it's a full class of 20 plus students. Just not all the students are taking the SL exams.
Okay, that's
yeah. So there are different options and avenues for the students.
I have a clarifying question about scores, because I've been recently made aware that some students will sit for the language exams even if they haven't taken the class as like their IB language. So just to what extent those scores might be skewed.
I think I don't have it right in front of me, the sheet, but it wasn't a large number, so I don't anticipate it. I don't believe it to be other people just taking it. I think it was a total of maybe 10 or 11 students total, but I can get that up. But the issue that we are at is we can't keep having a fluctuation of low enrollment. I mean, next year we have 16 students who will be in an SL class total. So the 19 in Arabic 2, only 16 are continuing their junior year. And so this is just not a sustainable number of students. I would love to have this program. Now, what we are doing, and even in the senior survey, was to ask them if there's any language you could take and you start all over, what language would it be? And it's something that our chair is also looking into. What other language options do our 8th graders want coming in, and our seniors going out, and current students in language programs? But we cannot have a total of 20 students in our program. It is not sustainable.
I just want to clarify also, you're still not having that physics class for the same reason.
And when I get to the budget, you will. I hope you will understand how important it is that our classes are full. Because as I go through that, you'll see, you'll get a better understanding. Is there some?
Yeah. The see your raised hand. If you want to stay till the end, there'll be a public participation at the end of the meeting.
So in the end, I have to move forward. Even if we had, let's say, 20 students come in, 20 isn't a number to make even at this point anymore when you see the budget. And I'll talk about that. But I just wanted to put an end to it. We're not even offering Arabic 1 as an option next year for incoming freshmen because we can't have this up and down. It is not sustainable. And so we need to make sure that we have 3 thriving languages. And as I was meeting with the department chair, he said the entire department, for the most part, has been having to carry a full load of 140 students, where this has been a program of like 60 to 70. Now, I do know at one point there was 100-something in it, and that just hasn't been the case for the last 6 years.
Another clarifying question. I know that the current practice is to allow our incoming 9th graders to pretty much get their top choice for the languages, but depending on the year and the interest, wouldn't that also cause fluctuations for potentially like our Mandarin positions, our Spanish, our French positions. I guess what I'm wondering is, in terms of like stability, to what extent would it change and shift if we could allow students also a second choice instead of their first choice to help maintain the integrity of certain programs?
We do. They choose their order of all 4 languages. And again, one year we everybody put their second into Arabic, and then the following year they changed it to Spanish and the different other languages. They came out of the program and started over. What I'll say is, Mandarin has been consistent and growing. It grew from 1 teacher to 2 teachers. The teachers were intentional about how they were building the program. Students are very excited about it. And we have 3 sections pretty much every freshman year. Spanish is consistent with the numbers coming in. French is consistent with the numbers coming in almost year after year.
So is our Arabic teacher only doing Arabic, or is he doing Spanish as well?
It's Spanish. And it was all Arabic, and now it's 4 sections of Spanish and then 1.
So
question
even
I
if,
have it.
no, I was about to say, even if we keep just one class of Arabic, we're just getting rid of it.
Yes, because it is not sustainable, and within our budget, it is impossible for us. It's not fair to the other teachers of the language. If we have a class of 20, that means we will have a Spanish class of 34 and 35. It's not fair. It's not fair to those teachers. It hasn't been fair to those teachers, and we don't have the numbers, and we can't have, like, if we don't have the numbers this freshman year when we put money into it, like to have only 19 for sophomore, that should not have continued, but the students have to have 2 years of the same language. So we were forced into a position of making that Arabic 2 with 19 students continue. So we can't keep having it. And again, this is going, when I talk about the budget and how tight the funding is, and I let me do the budget and I can come back to Arabic.
So
I think you'll understand.
getting to the budget about this. So if, we have a lot of input from people saying, they want Arabic, they want their kids to have, an opportunity to take this. Would they be allowed to do some kind of fundraiser or something like that, going, okay, here's a bunch of money we fundraise so that we can pay for, a part-time teacher to teach Arabic.
We have a teacher, so we have a teacher.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that, we have a teacher that does it, but he only has 19 students that are, learning these different levels.
That want to learn
And
Arabic.
it's like, it's cost prohibitive, like you said, to be able to do that. So would they be able to do some kind of fundraising to compensate for
So
that?
the problem is you need fundraising for 4 years.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
Like,
That's
so
true, yeah.
if you were to have a position, so you're going to need $160,000 worth of salary benefits
Times 4.
Times 4.
Yeah. Okay. See your point.
It's not. And when I get into the budget, and this is a dire budget, say the least, it's not. This is not good. And so let me do the budget. And I can come back to it.
One quick thing. I know that you mentioned like the other teachers, Mandarin, they're intentional about building the program, and I don't think that we want to downplay or negate your efforts in making intentional effort on pushing forward with this program. So I do just want to make sure that is stated, but also just like looking forward. When we think about intentionality, like how do we get into the incoming, the feeder schools? How do we make sure that we're publicizing how great this program can be so that we can start to build momentum around it? People don't know what they don't know, and knowing that a ton of students are in Spanish and French just because that's all they know. Like they don't necessarily know that the other options are there unless they're really into history, or they're really into, or this is their native language or something like that. They just don't know. And 8th graders, freshmen, whatever, they're still, being able to be molded too, So I would just love for us to be able to, be supportive in any way that we can, like try to help promote, get information out there so that students are aware that this program can potentially come back, and know that this is something that can be really fun and interesting for them as they continue to go out into the world. So I just want us to keep an open mind as we move towards the future on how we as a community can be intentional to promote the fact that we are one of 3 schools we are able to do this, and it's something that we should be very proud of. As many of the students, we had an alum. It's what many of the people, have stated, and we should really consider what we can do.
No, and I understand that, but it's really just going to come down to student voice. One of the biggest things of a language that students want that we don't offer is sign language, and that's actually what our students like.
Do any of our language teachers do sign language?
No, but as of right now,
We got to look for a new teacher.
Well, I'm just going to say, and this is, again, as the principal of the school, as the decisions we have to make, especially when the budget and how we have to make sure our classes, we will not be continuing with it. What we do as a department and how we think about how we're moving forward is going to be something that department will do. It's not the voice of the LSC in that. You obviously have a part of that process of hearing the conversations. The department needs to invest in it and go through what those processes would be to make sure that it is sustainable. And that's something that we just have to make sure that we are doing. And again, we have tried very hard for years and we have not made headway. And so at this point, we have to move forward. It's going to be fiscally irresponsible of me to even offer it next year with this path, especially with the impact that you're going to hear about in just a moment.
Are there any other questions on Arabic from LSC members? All right, let's move into budget, and thank you again for everyone, efforts, students, staff on this. Really appreciate it. It's obviously a shame. I know you worked really hard to avoid. So just want to thank everyone for everything they've been doing in the Arabic program.
What you will see here is we do our programming, and I just kind of want to show you just an example. Like we do our programming and we look at what are our numbers from the year before, what are our numbers now. We know how many sections we need to offer. Contractually, 28 is the max for a general class. The arts and PE are 31. It's a different number. So we go through and we see, hey, how many sections can we offer based on that number to maintain an appropriate average that is under 28. And this is kind of what I'm using. I pull language up because it's kind of the topic that we're talking about. In doing so, we see and we understand like how many total sections that we need. So for example, our anticipated sections for language are, 64 sections. Well, if we have 64 sections, we need that many teachers to teach those sections. If we have one class that's low, those sections go up, and the numbers go up for other teachers. And it's really, really tight. And so I just wanted you to see an example of just we go through and we review, and some of these classes, we have, 75 students, that's 25 in each class, so it becomes very, very tight. So that's an example of just a process we go through to make sure we know how many teachers we need to run our school and maintain the contract. So I'm going to share the budget slideshow with you and go through this. You did get the one-sheeter, but I'm going to help make sense of the one-sheeter in this process. And I'm going to be very blunt about the impact of this budget from the very beginning. I will share this here. I would like to, you had received the sheet. Today is a draft of the overall budget, more or less. I would at some point like to engage the PPLC in the budget as well. June 1st, we will vote to approve this, but this is really the first presentation on it. Our goal is we have to align the academic and social emotional supports we need for our students at our school. We have to think short-term and long-term in the funding. The short-term is going to hurt a lot. And we have to align this also to our CIWP practices that we'll talk more about at the June 1st, and as we present on that. And we use the course request to inform what classes we need to offer. And we have to be as precise as humanly possible within this budget, more than we ever have. So I'll just get to the point. These are our initial two priorities. I'm not going to go into them at this point, but we are looking again at instructional practices and systems and structures. That'll be a whole different presentation, not this one, but we already have a good frame of it. This is the CPS sheets. I'm going to clarify these are from Chicago Public Schools. This is not my information and or data. I'll do a quick overview of it, but we are about $725 million in the negative as a district. And that is having a direct impact on every school, including us specifically. There's no longer the federal pandemic aid. There are fewer students in the district. So there's less money coming from the district. You know, the model in which the budget is going to be set, which is the second bullet, is needs-based, but I'll make sense of what needs-based funding means, that we have been using kind of in the past. And so this is certain allocations of positions and then certain money that comes along with it. It makes this statement, and I am going to openly disagree with it, that there are more special education teachers, classroom assistants, and related service providers. I completely disagree with that. You'll hear that in just a moment why I disagree with that. But maybe that's just over the needs of students over the years and in time. But we are losing positions. Their district is expanding cluster programs. They are reducing funding for assistant principals at small schools. So schools, for example, 250 in an elementary, or high schools that have 90 students in them will only have a principal. For the second year in a row, they're making more cuts to central office and any way that they can. But again, this is a district slide. These are some of the other district slides. They have what's called an opportunity index, and each school gets a certain amount of funding or teacher allotments based on the exact location of the school. So ours is located in 60614. And so that is why our opportunity index is what it is, even though our students come from a variety of different areas and neighborhoods. And the representation of our students isn't necessarily the representation of 60614. And so there's an opportunity index that shifts based on that. That's what the OI is. If you see that and everything, it is OI. Again, this is a formula that determines core allocation of teachers and needs-based funding. It's in the sheets, and I will talk through it in the slide. They talk about foundational positions. I'll discuss that in the slide. For the most part, those are remaining static. But again, the formulas do have an issue with it. It does say that the class size limits will not change. We will be pushing that envelope. It says that the teacher losses will be capped at a max for 4 for elementary and 6 for high school. You'll hear more about that in just a minute.
What does that mean? Only get rid of that many teachers?
No, their funding model of the core allocation of teachers. So for us, our opportunity index is now whatever the number, 17, I believe. But the allocation of teachers per student has shifted. So it used to be every 21 students you get a teaching position. Now it's every 22 students, which means we're going to be funded 5 less teachers. And so a school like, I'm going to use Lane Tech as just an example. They have 4,000 students. If you do that, they probably would have to lose 15. They're capping it at 6 out of the core allocation for that school. And it really kind of depends on a school by school scenario. For us, which is what this is the slide, this is us. We are losing 6 teachers from the general education teachers. We don't have funding for it. Or we're forced to have our classes be at 26, 27 in our average, and 28. It's going to be right there. We still have to go back to make sure that if a teacher has 29 or 30 in a class, that then they have 25 in a different class to balance out to 140 total. So those are the things that we have to look at, and it will be like that in every class. And this goes back to why
what you're saying. So most teachers will end up teaching roughly 140 kids.
Under 140 is to keep to the contract. It is going to be extremely tight. We have exactly amount of teachers we need. Almost, if you imagine dividing every class into 20, 28 students, and that's how many teachers you have, that's basically the situation we are. So it would be, if we offered a class of 13, somebody will have 150, they'll have to offset. And then that's against the contract, and we can't do that. We are losing 4 special education teachers. This is funded directly by the district. They're cutting 4 positions. They do not count 9th graders as being enrolled at the school until the first day of school, and they will not give an allocation for those teachers until school has started, which means we will start the school year without enough teachers to cover our diverse learners.
So what you're saying is that we'll have teachers for these people, for the students, but we'll be like, for all the SEL positions, there'll be none set aside for them until these people.
Right. So people will already have lost their jobs, taken jobs outside of CPS most likely. Positions will be given after like a 10, 20 day number, and then you're given a position in October.
And how fast do we usually fill those positions?
And you have to find, if you're at another CPS school, the principal has to release them to be able to go to your school, which they will not in October. Therefore, you won't be able to hire people at CPS. So it's anybody who doesn't have a job yet.
Which is probably the people who got picked over for all the other jobs.
But you will be trying to.
Yeah, what will have to happen realistically in our budget or in our program is we will not be able to meet the federal number of percentages in classes to ensure this. And I'll get to the sheet and explain kind of what I'm talking. So a lot of it's in the sheet that I'll talk through, but this is the big picture. We're losing 4 diverse learning teachers, and we're losing 10 total teachers. We are losing 2 special education assistants to support our diverse learning students and 2 non-teaching staff positions. Now, I can't tell you the exact positions because that sort of is telling you whose job is being impacted. I am redefining a social emotional learning position. We have now, which is new, a district funded interventionist, which is a positive, right? So we have a new position that was able to offset. If we didn't have that, we would be letting go of 7 teachers. We have an interventionist, and they do and so that's funded from the district. For the first time since I've been the principal here, we have Title I funds. And that goes with like documentation of waivers and where our students, so this is a positive with additional funds that come to the school to support our students. We do have the teaching positions we need for our programs, but it's going to make the class size cap tight.
So on like that thing you sent out to us via email, I was just looking at like the methodology and the allocation, like 1 principal per school, and it says like our school would only have like 1 AP. So where does the funding?
So I'll go through all of that in a minute. I have the slides here. I'm going to go through all of them. We do have our internal accounts. That's extremely tight. We do have rentals in the parking lot. Our fees will be what are for any of our resources. We will not have any dollars towards anything but salary and benefits. So our fees are the only way we can buy books, paper, anything. We do have, the district is giving funding for professional learning to a point, but again, we still have to focus on making sure our students have access to the classes that they need. This year, we are going to be very close to our baseline of where we were. We have seen an increased enrollment of our freshmen. Our budget does change based on teachers' salary lanes and steps. They adjust and change. Once the budget is approved, I complete what's called the school organizational worksheet, and that is my best estimate of who should be in what position. The district, they go through and make the final decisions on staffing or the impact of those 10 teachers, for example. I will have to redistribute responsibilities, and it's an increased load for some of the leaders in the building. Our coordinators and APs will have to take on more work due to additional impacts. It's just what we have to do. So here's a breakdown, and this is to make sense of like the sheets that I gave to you. As you can see, we have a total on the 20th day, and that's what our funding is based off of. There's 2,136 students. We're seeing kind of a unsustainable growth that we wanted to be careful of. This is an appropriate size for our building. Actually, our max capacity for students of our building is 1,997 students. So we are over capacity as a school, which is a good thing. And we are also seeing that we have 49 to 63% of our incoming freshmen are within our area of our neighborhood area, which is a drastic increase from like the 20 or 30% 6 years ago.
So for example, I know like Lincoln Park's a neighborhood school, so you take in all the neighborhood schools here, but then the other programs are discretionary. Do you ever lower those program numbers to?
We have over the last 2 years. We haven't taken anybody from the wait list for the last 3 or 4. Just we have a wait list of over 2,000 students on it. But the issue we have is if we increase our enrollment of students, it doesn't change our budget. So classes will be bigger.
That's what I'm saying. So would you say, okay, normally we accept like 150 in the IB program, but we're only accepting 30 next year.
We did that this year. So we lowered because we still have a lot because we have so many students coming from the neighborhood too who want to be in the programs. And we can't you can't say no to anybody in our attendance area. And so we'll have our day one from Go CPS was 580 freshmen, and I was freaking out. And we lowered the offers to anybody outside our attendance area. So we lowered it because the numbers have just been growing. And we still had 580. It's teetering out a little bit now. But so we're going to be kind of on more of a consistent. We're trying to be consistent year after year after year. But those are things that we just have to balance. Cluster don't count to our total number because they have an allotment of 2 LBS1 teachers or diverse learning teachers for that program. But I'll get to that in just a moment. You can see the breakdown of the grade levels, and I think that's an important part for us to pay attention to. Is we are giving fewer offers, and we're getting higher outcomes of freshmen still coming in. Last year we had 557 freshmen, and we offered fewer seats to our magnet programs. And you can see we're at 523 seniors, 526, 530, 557. We're going to probably be at 550 again this year. So we're trending actually towards 2,200 students.
Because more neighborhood kids come in, is that it?
Yeah. But again, so you see a spike, but we saw a spike of we were offering. So in 2025, and as you see on the column that spike, 2020 school year 24 and 25, or not 25, but the fall year, we offered the same amount of seats, and that's why we had this huge spike, because a huge spike of attendance, people in our attendance area coming into the school. So we've been able to balance it off a little bit more in these last 2 years and predict it a little bit better. But that has an impact on our money. God, you're probably not gonna be able to see this. I'll stand up here. Point. Just try to
Can you focus on that screen more?
It'll be a little bit bigger for you. Well, this is a copy and paste from the district sheet. I wanted you to see exactly. I'll read it to you, so you can see up here. These are what are called foundational positions. These are the positions that every school more or less gets. It differentiates depending on each school. Every school gets a principal. It doesn't matter. I can make $1 million. The district pays for it. We get an assistant principal because we have an enrollment over 250 students. But just a single is funded by the district. They can make $100,000, million. It doesn't matter. It's paid for by the district. Just to make sense of it, schools of our size in the suburb would have 6 assistant principals. We have 3. There are even schools of 1,200 that have 3 in our district. We have not added a AP and ages, and nor will we. Clerks, there's only 1 funded per school. These the counselors, anybody who knows ASCA model, which is it's basically for counseling. You're supposed to have a counselor every 250 students. The district is only funding 1 every 500 students. So we get an allocation of 5 counselors. So that's our number. That's what we've got. This is the shift that you see here. Based on the opportunity index, because we are less than or equal to 25 on the opportunity index, we get 1 teacher every 22 students. Last year it was 1 teacher every 21 students. That cut 5 teaching positions. For a school of our size, that cut 5 teaching positions with our numbers. We were at 103, and we got an additional allocation for 106 because of our school programs last year. So we were at 106 funded positions by the district. They didn't take that into consideration. So to be true, the funded positions they are giving us, they said they would cut 6, they actually cut 9. But because that wasn't in the original budget we received last year, they didn't consider it as a gift, not an allocation. So they are funding 9. Well, this actually is 7 fewer, but because of that 6 number that they told us, they are then giving us one position so we don't lose 7. Does this make sense? So technically, they're giving, because of the ratio of the 22 to every teacher, they're giving us technically 10 fewer teachers than they did last year with that additional allocation. But based off of last year's budget sheet they gave us, 7 fewer. They're giving us 1 more, so it's 97 funded teachers.
So real quick question. So when the freshmen come in, if more people come in, numbers go up, layoffs go up.
Not until the 20th day of the school year. So we could open up a new position on the 20th day. Well, one, we'll get the money. The 20th day is when they run the numbers. Then you get the money like a week or 2 later, and then you open up a position, and then you try to hire somebody, and it's January. And that's the reality of how this works. And so we have to be so precise in our programming and scheduling that every class, that if we get that money, it's because a teacher, well, ultimately, if a teacher has above 140 students in their classroom, it's grievable, and they should grieve the district, because we can only do so much with what we've got. When every teacher is at like 140 in their classes, total number of students, then that's where they're at. This is a new position. This is a positive. Because we are now Title I school, we get an interventionist paid for our school. And so we get 1 interventionist that is paid for our school. That's really awesome. And that helps us financially.
What is that?
They work with our interventionist works with our freshmen. If their math or English skills are needs development, they're working with the students. Mr. Kramer, did you want to?
I was just going to ask. So last year we had 0 as a core position, right? So we had 0 interventionists.
Yeah, we paid for it.
Okay.
We paid for it. Yeah, last year we used our own school funds to pay for that position. This year we don't. We did have 2 assistants that were given to the school last year. I think that was using some of the the funding from the pandemic that was carrying over, was paying for those 2 positions. Instead, we get an allocation of $60,000. This is we can use this for like miscellaneous. Part of the contract for SEIU is that we have to have coverage. Security can't cover the lunchroom alone. There has to be a miscellaneous staff member there. That's part of the contract. That's $60,000. That's what that's going to go to. So just so you know what that is. Like I said, this is kind of a breakdown of kind of all the parts to it. This is that one sheeter that I gave to you. This is the core classroom and holistic teacher calculations. So because we have an opportunity index of 17, 2,112 students, the 22 to 21, that's where we get our 96. So that's the math of the district. The good part about these 96 positions, you can make $200,000 or you can make whatever. It doesn't matter. The district pays that and their benefits. Our budget is based off of salary and benefits. So if a teacher makes $140,000 and has $45,000 in benefits, the cost of that single teacher is $185,000.
That doesn't go.
As long as I put them in this position, and that's part of what I did in my steps, is I went through and I went and basically pulled everybody's salary and benefits and put them in order. I started at the bottom and I moved the teacher making 185 all the way to the final one. And then when I was out of the 97, 97 because the other position too. Once that was full, then I paid for the others out of the next thing I'm going to talk about. And so that did save us money in the end. I think there's a slide.
What does that mean? Like, so for example, like daughter's photography teacher retired, she's no longer here. Is that one of those people you're getting rid of because she retired anyway?
So what I would do is, if you have a vacancy and that's what you with that position, if they're in a core position, they're funded. It doesn't matter how much they were. For example, if we had 7 art teachers, we need 7 art teachers. I still have to have 7 art teachers. I still go through and put the most expensive people into those and start from whatever. Let's say I closed that position and reopened an art to make it cheaper or something like that, the district automatically makes it go mid-range cost. So it's not like a brand new teacher. You could have a brand new teacher in it, but it's already going to start at like $90,000 for the cost of the position, $45,000 of benefits. So it's 120, 130, whatever position.
But how does that, like, so then you have to get rid of 6 teachers and you can't find any funding for them anywhere. Could you just use that to get rid of your 6 lowest performing teachers?
No, I can't. There is a HR.
It was that easy.
Yeah, no, HR does go through a process for what that looks like for what is it. I'll get to that in the end. Like,
That feels like that's
this is not corporate America. I'll tell you that. That's not how that works, but I'll talk about what will happen as the next step at the very, very end. But I just want to make sure you kind of understand all of these things and taking time to really go through it. What you'll see here is our flexible funding. So every student basically is, we receive $1,095 per student. It's called flexible funding. So we get $2,569,608. So we get that much money. That's almost exactly as much as we got last year. If that's as much as we got last year and everybody has pay increases, it's not enough money. So with the pay increases that all of our teachers and staff members, when I opened up the system called EPM that I have to balance the budget in, we started at $625,000 in the negative, just from this funding source. Those 6, the positions the 6 positions that we did not receive, when I funded them through the flexible funding here, that put us at $1,125,000 into the negative. And so that was where we started from, this funding source at the beginning of trying to balance the budget. And I do have it balanced more or less, just a little bit of tinkering. The positive we have this year that we didn't have last year is we now get Title I discretionary funding, which is $249,000. That's basically a teaching position and a half. And so that was able to offset some of our or two like very low paying teachers. So that actually helped us with some of the bigger cuts that we have. So remember, I was saying that it's really about, like 10 teachers, like it was what we were losing. We didn't get those allocations. So this money will also help offset some of those costs.
So that's just to 100% clarify that. So like we're going to use the Title I money to like keep a couple teachers. That's it. Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, it would have been, like I said, 103 was really 7. They said 6, but really we got 3 more. So it helped save 2 of the positions. So you can see here, this is kind of also the breakdown. So that's how the funding goes. Here's their calculation of how they got the needs-based funding for our school. Cool. There is some parent involvement allocation of about $5,000 to engage parents, especially students who have additional supports and needs. What you see here, here's our special education allocation. We actually, the 20th day, we had 169 students with IEPs. In March, we had 216. We have actually seen an increase in number of students with IEPs, yet we are losing positions. There are 13 special education teachers. I can tell you right now that for our 9th to 12th grade students that we have scheduled, we need 15. So we are 2 short for our 9th to 12th grade students as of today. And remember, they are not counting freshmen as even being our students until the first day of school. And we anticipate that will be 4 other positions. So we will start if this remains the same, and you're not allowed to appeal this. I tried already. I said that we need 15 right now. I can tell you look at our minutes, 10th through 12th grade next year, we need 15 teachers. That doesn't they're not engaging with that until the summer. So if we have this at the start of the school year, I anticipate us being 6 teachers short for supporting our diverse learning students, which is why to that CPS statement about the increase, I disagree with that. Correct. Well, it leads to compensatory services the district would have to pay for if students had a loss in their growth.
So I have a question. So you have these teachers and assistants that won't have jobs. Teachers starting next year.
Correct.
Until the 20th. So can they be put like, hey, if you don't take anything, I have an idea that you might have a few positions. Give them a bonus if they stick around and wait for the call this year.
I don't have the money to give them a bonus. No, I mean, we can't, like, those are negotiations that go out, like there's specific contract language and things that have to be followed. What will end up happening and what we will end up doing is we know that if the class if the class max is 28, you can only have 8 diverse learners in the classroom to be under the percentage. We're going to have 10. We're going to have to, because we don't have enough teachers to do that. Or else the students start in a class that doesn't have a co-teacher at all, just with the gen ed teacher, wait for the 20th day, get them the position in October, hire them by December. We are damned if we do, damned if we don't in this situation. I'm just going to be very direct with you as an LSC that this is an impossible situation. There is another school that I know of, they lost 12 diverse learning teachers.
So it's just, right, it's just really foolish. So much better if you're allowed to suggest.
There's
Like, why is no one fighting that rule?
If there was only some political figures in this room
Yeah, I know,
that potentially at the state level can discuss these. What I will say is,
Can you take a note on that, Paul?
No, I literally am. But that's
Here-
right?
yeah, here's what I can tell you about our students. We know who our students are, our freshmen already. Now I understand where some of the, like, there are some schools where they are projected to have students, they don't end up coming to the school, and they've got 2 extra teachers that they actually didn't need. We are predictable. We're predictable.
Because it's a neighborhood school, or why is it
A neighborhood, and we have a pattern, right? So we know about how many students keep coming every year, and it keeps happening. We're going to need 3 co-taught in English, or 4 co-taught in English, and 1 in self-contained instructional, or it's going to be a combination of it. We have the same number of kids pretty much coming every single year. Like, just look at our average, and you see that it's normal. We have the high school connection during the summer. They're here because they can get services. Private school, so where it would pull the students away most likely is like private school, right? Well, at private schools, you're not necessarily going to be able to get those services. So the students it is predictable. So it's very frustrating because we knew our number. We actually even created a ghost class this year, knowing that we needed it. We said we really needed 2, but we wanted to hedge our bet and put 1. We ended up getting enough for 2 teachers. This year, we got 2 teachers after school started. And luckily, we had some people lined up who really wanted to be here. And their other schools, they were having issues and needed to actually create room for somebody else.
Is this like a CPS thing, or is this like every school, even in the suburbs, has the same process?
CPS.
Okay. That's when you're saying like it's a state thing. Why is CPS allowed to do this, but no, like other districts don't?
I mean, I have my theories, but I'm probably not saying those in probably full of comments. I said, yeah. But like, but in the end, we are short $725 million, and they don't have money for it. And there are schools that the numbers aren't going to be accurate. I can only speak about Lincoln Park High School because I know the trends. I know where we're at. I've seen it over time. I know I need 15 teachers for day 1 for 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. I know it. There's no getting out of it. I know what we need. But it's very frustrating. We still keep our 2 case managers. That we have amazing case managers. Our cluster remains the same, and we get 2 cluster teachers, and we have 2 dedicated SECAs. But again, when we look at the paraprofessional numbers, this may be more accurate, based on what we anticipate our needs are for next year. We don't have a lot of SECAs, which are like paraprofessionals, but we'll look at those numbers more. But this is very frustrating, and there's nothing I can do about it. Oh, thanks. I'm doing a dance. Doing a little dance. Yeah, right. We are seeing a decline in the amount of English language learners that we were having as a school. We had a major uptick, but this is when a lot of individuals were being bused from Texas, and students were just trying to find a home. And we were a nice place in which we welcomed a lot of students into it. So our numbers aren't as high as they have been, but we still get a full-time English language support specialists, which is good. Because our numbers aren't as high, that person can teach some classes too. We're allowed to. If we had over 250, they're not allowed to. So since they can now cover 2 classes. So those classes, if you hear about an ESL class that is below 10, that is the reason why. Because the ELPT is allowed to give you that flexibility for ESL students who are coming in at a low language level. But that's only because we have this position. If we didn't have this position, we couldn't do that. they would have to be in a full class. So anticipate, we just don't know who our year one language learners are, and showing up that fluctuates and you can't predict it.
Would that be like ESL 1 class?
ESL 1 in communications, it's a requirement by the state. You have that. So if we have 10 kids, there are going to be 10 kids in that class, but she's teaching it and it's not coming out of our allocation of gen ed teachers or fund-based teachers we're funding. Other programs, I really was worried about this. We keep all 3 of our IB coordinators. So that is for our MYP, our DP, and our CP program, we keep 3 coordinators. I would lose my mind if we didn't. We have a fully funded athletic director still. So that's for us, and we also get 2 JROTC instructors based on the size of our program. So this is consistent with this year. So this isn't a change. Well, I could have made this one a lot bigger. They gave us $15,000 for support of our instructional leadership team. So like the teachers who are leading our instructional work, there's a $15,000 bucket that's for them to be paid extended day pay after school. Operational allocations, we get six individuals for the lunchroom staff. We get 12 individuals funded to support security. Something we are doing next year in a cost-saving measure is we are staggering our security schedule. We have to. We spend a lot of our fee to keep our building after 3:30, for example. We have to pay extended day pay to security to stay. So we are looking to stagger some of the schedules so that the day for an individual, let's say, that starts at 10 and goes to 6 or 6 o'clock or whatever it is. That won't be the exact time, but we're going to stagger that to save some money. And there will be times we'll obviously have to pay people to stay and do different things, but we're trying to find any way to like save some funds, just because we don't have the same amount of money that we've had in the past, and we won't. And we need our internal accounts to offset anything else that we might need. And ultimately, it has to be towards resources in the classroom first. This just has to be.
That allocation as well. That's they could get paid anything.
Yeah, we are the only school in the district where all our security guards are funded by the district. And that's because we had some very difficult times, and the district funded it. So most schools, even very large schools, only have 6. So, those are positive, because if they aren't funded, then that comes out of that needs-based budgeting. These things, like our social workers, nurses, custodians, we don't have a budget for them. They're paid from, they're not my employees, is a better way to put it. So custodians are employed by the district. They're the direct report. Nurses, social workers, they're not my employees. They're here, they're part of our team, and we love them. But they have different supervisors. I'm not their supervisor directly. On a positive note, and I'll say this but we're getting another social worker next year. So we're going from 5 to 6. When I started, we had 1.5. And it just really shows the needs of our students. And our social workers are phenomenal. So I will say, going back to the CPS allocation for supports, it is happening with social workers. I can say that. We're getting more funding for social workers. And I tell you, it is needed. So here are the outcomes, just so you kind of understand where we're going. Staffing will remain stable to complete to have our schedule and program run. It's just going to be full. Classes will be full. They all have to be full. Like I said, they will be full across grade levels. We will make determinations of having some classes will be over 28. That teacher will have a class that is going to be lower than 28 to offset that, in an attempt to prioritize our highest need students not being over 28. So I'm gonna make this up, and that's not this class, so don't repeat. Like this is not fact. But like an AP global politics class where our students are just rocking would be a class I would prefer to be at 29 or 30 instead of our English 1 co-taught class. And those will be decisions that I will make. As long as that teacher's under 140, we're skirting a nice contractual line. But that's something that it's gonna be that kind of close. And so we'll have to look at every single teacher to make sure they have full loads. We will have insufficient diverse learning staffing. It will be insufficient. The original slide that was kind of prefabricated from the district said sufficient. I changed that. Our supply money will be fine based off of our fee and rentals. We are very blessed to have those kind of options to be able to support our school. Supply money, sub money will be tight. We do not get enough funding for all the subs. Teachers get 10 sick days, 3 personal business days. We added on the religious days, so they get 13 days, and we get about 7 days of funding. So if a teacher uses all 13, we have to use our student fees to offset it. That's just what it is. But that's part of the contract, and that's their rights. They've earned those.
A lot of us don't use all the days. Though.
No.
I know. I always want to push back.
But no, the thing is, during COVID, a lot of teachers capped out. So there is a cap too on your sick days. So if you don't, a lot of our teachers, this is real. If you don't actually use them, you lose them, and it's created its own problem. So I will say we are always in the red when it comes to funding. I can tell you that. The religious holidays really kind of like pushed it over the cliff because I think everybody uses them. We have to close 6 general education teaching positions. This will be based off of HR. HR will come through. They will look at seniority. So the date teachers came in, it'll start at the bottom. So for an example, and this is not saying this is like, let's say it's science. What it would do is if we had to cut let's say all 6 of those positions were in science. What they would do is look at who is the most recent hire and go 6 down. And that's
Not based on his science teacher.
So it could cut into tenure. The evaluations you have to be running at like unset. And realistically, we don't have people who are really trending that over a 2-year contract, like or for tenure or PATs are a little bit different. Our new teachers, they're on a 1 year. If you have a 1-year teacher who's a PAT and they're trending at unsatisfactory, which I'm going to tell you within the reach is very difficult to be at unsat down the board. Like,
What if it's not like you're unsat, like the worst performer, but if you have like 6 and one not, it's just
seniority. It's only seniority. So now it's seniority, but also endorsements. So I'll give you an example, and I've said this publicly, and I'm going to repeat myself on it over and over again. If you have an ESL endorsement, that is a part of your job profile. So I'm picking on science, and science teachers don't freak out. But like if a science teacher has an ESL endorsement and I close a science position, even if they're the newest hire, it won't impact them because that ESL, and we need ESL endorsements at our school. Again, when I started, Ms. Tukey and I were 2 of 5. And so now we have nearly 26, 27. Like and we can't go backwards on that. And so like having those endorsements, or if somebody's teaching a very specific, unique class, they have an endorsement that they've earned. Let's say it's like business and they're teaching a business class, and they have a business endorsement and then whatever, then their job profile is like that. So what I'll say is if those 6 positions are closed, like those are the kind of things that HR looks at. That's why it's not like this simple process of like, it's just the first person hired. And that's why I can't tell you what department, I can't tell you like who, because sometimes I may be wrong. Because sometimes somebody may have an endorsement in a different content area and they're actually more seen. We have teachers with science and social studies, for example. Somebody may be the lowest tenured person in social studies, but they actually have more seniority in English. So even if you close a social studies position, they would bump an English teacher. And that's why and some people have multiple endorsements, so it really is not appropriate. It's kind of, I am not allowed to tell the teacher until I get a paper from HR saying it is that person.
Have they given you an idea of like when they would be notified?
No. Budgets for the entire district are due for everybody like June 9th. After that, they start that process. It easily could be middle of June, end of June, beginning of July. And just be real.
So when a teacher comes on board,
Mhm.
you know, they've been here, let's say, 6 or 7 years. Do they, is every year like, renegotiated whether they're going to stay the following year? Or?
There's no contracts. There's just position. Like we don't do contracts in CPS, so it's
Okay, so every year it's year to year.
you're renewed based off of evaluations, but also budget. And those are the two things that would impact. But you could, I mean, there's a hype. Like, let's say that I'm going to use the science because it's ridiculous to say 6 teachers in science, right? But it doesn't matter if you're tenured. You could have been here 20 years. If you're the 6th person on that, it's you, and that's it. And this has been a very just personally hard process because you know the people in the building and you know it's going to impact people you care about and their livelihoods. And
But could people quit between now and then?
they can. And then what happens is they have a right to their position, right? So
Retire.
if somebody let's say over the summer decided to go to teach in Hawaii, right? Well, then if somebody in that department was impacted, they have a right to that position for over a year. Yeah, and it's just order. Everybody has a right to a job that if they were impacted. So if let's say science, I close it at PAT science teacher, and then I get somebody in science opens up, and I have now an opening in science. The next person up gets the job. It's offered. I have to call them and offer it to them.
Oh, the person that.
Yeah. So if somebody was impacted and a position becomes available in that, if it's a different yeah, and I can't arbitrarily add an ESL on so they can't get it. That is not allowed, right? Now, if I needed to have, let's say I got half science and half art, and I needed that position and not the one they were in, then you can do that. But that's not going to happen. You know, I'm not clear. So sub money is going to be tight. Security, we're staggering to save funds. Administrators and coordinators will have increased responsibilities. The decisions that I've had to basically make to be able to balance our budget, closing 6 general ed positions, we're losing 4 special education positions, we're losing 2 special education positions, I'm closing 2 non-teaching staff positions, and I'm refining an SEL position. And it's also this combination that is very specific. If it's not this combination, then more people have to be impacted to create more funding. So I had to be very specific about what position was being impacted to balance the budget. And it is literally I think we'll have like $50 in it. Everything will be salary and benefits. These are the LSC next steps. We have to approve this technically it has to all be submitted by, I believe, June 9th. We have our June 1st LSC meeting. That's the one I intend for us to be able to vote on this. There really isn't a ton of wiggle room. Like, this isn't like, hey, what about this or what about that? Usually as an LSC, if we had extra money, it's, hey, can we put this towards this program? Or can we bring in some extra of this? This is not, we don't have that room.
If you had extra positions that funding for past, would you decide not to
I did. I have. Last year, I cut 2 SEL positions to keep 2 teachers.
This year, are you cutting?
Yeah, I'm cutting 2. Well, I'm not. I'm cutting 2 other positions. Right. They're non-teaching, and I'm not trying to I don't want to create, but they're not. They will hurt.
Do we have any I should know this, but do our department chairs have release periods this year?
No.
Okay. Do we have any positions to do?
They have a response, like CAS and extended essay supervisor coordinators. They both do. Looking into this, there's some we may be able to keep extended essay, but I'm going to need our coordinators doing X, Y, and Z. If we don't have, because it's if situations if we have some of the extra will result, we don't have the money for it, we don't have the positions for it. It's really tight. So there will be no extra release periods for the most part. I think extended essay, we have room for it. There isn't for example, if I have one class, why just cut it for the heck of it? Now maybe to reduce class sizes, it would. So that is something that I need to contemplate a little bit.
Along the same lines, like, do you have any idea? You don't know.
No, not by the end of the school year. I think over the next year or two, some people have communicated they would. Traditionally, when you have a retirement, I close that position right away, even to open up a brand new one at a lower cost, right? But we don't have any that haven't happened already. The art, like example, we did have an art retirement. So yes, that position it's still there, but it's no longer that cost. But those positions were also like core allocated, so it didn't matter. They could have been $200,000 the district's paying for it anyway.
So the 6 teachers that we're going to lose, if we wanted to keep them, we'd have to use that discretion.
Yeah, the flexible funding.
And then how much on average would you say that we would need per teacher?
160.
160. We're looking a little over $1 million.
Because if you could open it I used to do this. I would open up a brand new position at like year 1, and then you'd start with a negative. So that's why they don't allow us to. You can balance the budget nice and easy, but you're high. So they are now forcing you to have it at mid-range cost. So I think it's like 88,000, 45,000 in benefits. So maybe a little less than 160, but like 129, 125. I think 130 is what any position we would open up. That's why with the Title I funds, it was basically 2 positions we were able to save. It was about 260.
Can people make sure they're doing their comments on the mic? Just when you're
sorry.
Thank you for that, Lynn.
It has to be in the mic.
Okay. And in short, y'all, this is it. I mean, there's not much besides we have to cut positions. There are no options. I can't have an unbalanced budget. The positions that are cut are to minimize impact. We have as many teachers as we need to run our schedule, but it's just going to be tight. So that's it. June 1st, I'll kind of just give any updates. It'll be more or less this, unless something changes. Hypothetically, let's say the district gives me 2 more positions, I can do something different. I don't anticipate that. I've already put in an appeal for more teaching positions. It was denied. I already tried to do the diverse learning appeal. They said that's not what they're doing right now, and it won't be until the summer. So I have been trying to push back the district to be able to get more of our positions. Any other questions?
Oh, sorry. What could parents and/or state legislature people do to solve that ridiculous thing with the start of the school day? I don't even know. It seems insane.
There are two things that I think.
I know we were in the same
things
spot
I can say
last
right
year.
here. The district does not get the same funding as the suburban school districts. Part of this is because of the past things that have happened in the 80s and 90s, where there was money taken for the pension, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So we're still dealing with some of that. So it's not the same level of funding that other schools are getting. So we owe that on it, and we're still paying off a debt. So I think that's something that can be from a state level. The other part is, for me, the DL allocation is we won't be able to support our needs of our students at the beginning of the year. That's just it. It's not okay. And so happy to talk offline a little bit more, but those are the 2 biggest issues we're facing.
I would also strongly encourage anybody to feel free to reach out to board members. When I've had to do that a couple of times relating to other things, they've been very responsive. I'm not saying that it'll magically fix the problem, but at least a couple of the ones within districts I've had to work with have been very responsive and helpful. So I think that's always a good idea. I think if you're more of an extrovert and you're willing to speak at a Board of Ed meeting, I think that's also a really good use of time. I'm not that person, but if you are, I think it's worthwhile.
Have you spoken at one of those before?
No.
It's not
But it's the same thing as ours. You go up, you talk.
Yeah,
They can't.
The only exception is you have to sign up ahead of time, and there's only like so many slots. So like if it says like sign up at 9 o'clock on Tuesday, you have to click the
like
button
buying
then.
concert tickets.
Yeah, or like registering for the park district.
You're
stuff.
sleeping.
It's
You're
like,
sleeping
yeah.
out.
Armored to jailhouse.
So a few questions. As far as what we're going to essentially approve on June 1st, are we going to get a copy of the detailed slide to go over, or is there something else?
Share the slide deck.
Okay. And then if there's any modifications, you'll let us know what's tweaked.
Yeah,
There's.
I really, the only way I would anticipate a modification at this point is if some miracle were given additional allocation of positions. Like I said, the teaching, the positions that we've closed for teaching are the max we can do. We can't close another one. If we close another one, classes will be oversized, and that's we can't do that. So there are no more teachers to cut. We also are very of our school compared to peers. We have kind of on the low side of non-instructional positions. And I mean, you guys probably know, like coming into our school, we only have so many clerks, so many. We're short. We should have 2 more counselors. There's like those kind of things we just don't have.
So a question regarding student fees, knowing that, we had a push to get it to where it was this year. How do student fees go towards this budget? Is that just for funding what the school needs, and that doesn't have anything to do with the deficit that we're in?
Yeah, we spend pretty much all of our fees on like department needs, like things for the science department, things for all the different departments. That's where a lot of money goes, and a lot of it also goes to keeping our building open. Like when we have a sporting event that goes to, let's say, 9 o'clock, it's going to cost us like $2,000 to $3,000 that night. That's why I'm doing it staggered to try to like offset it.
So will raising student fees help anything? It's essentially.
We also I can say, I think we may be close to a sweet spot. Maybe we want to investigate a little bit of a bump. I wouldn't jump to 500.
Right. No, it was just more of a, is that going to help us be in a better standing? Like I think about impact statements. If you let parents know what their fees are for, literally bullet points, because long paragraph, they won't read it. Bullet points of this is what your money has gone towards. And you've heard on the news, you've read in articles, the deficit, that CPS is in as a whole. This is the reason why there may be a potential bump, or the campaigns to get more people to donate. Like thinking creatively on how we can make sure that the students and staff still have a good experience here. Just trying to think about what other options we have with stuff.
Because that will be where maybe we don't have a position for something else anymore that we can subsidize other things. So like even those fees, all right, so I'm down a position here, but now I need to have to pay somebody to stay later to do the work of the person that's no longer here, or
how's that parking lot going? Can we rake in enough money for?
We're actually bringing money in, which is crazy. I mean,
not enough.
Not yet, but it's actually like right now it's about $2,600, $2,700 that we didn't have before every month. So, and that's not counting.
But that's not counting the scans.
So that's the scan stuff.
Okay, so we're getting $2,500 a month off that.
Yeah, so we're getting about 5 total. Yeah, so it's
better than zero.
It's better than zero. So, but things like that, like we're working on contract with churches for using our auditorium, so that can bring in like $60,000. Stuff like that I'm trying to like get other groups in to bring extra money. The district is also, though, at the same time, and this is where the fees are important and all those other things, the things that you would anticipate the district would be funding now, we are now being more responsible for. So when we have a rental, they're restricting more like custodial coverage, on Saturdays sometimes. And so if we have to pay for it, or we have to pay for an engineer to come in.
So it eats into whatever you're making.
Yes.
I guess I have another question, and it probably ties to facilities report out and things like that. Knowing that CPS is in such a deficit, I'll just keep on leaving it at that. How does that affect maintenance for buildings? When we think about capital improvement projects, things that are needed, will they just stop making sure that these schools are okay to inhabit? Like what are they going to do when there are different things as far as deferred maintenance and so forth that are required, but they already are in the negative.
I'll give you an example. And this is, so in this room, for example, we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 windows. Only 2 of them have to function.
Those 2?
That's if
We
you
make
just
the
go,
cut. You just go.
and that's a serious response. Like it's now there has to be 2 functioning windows, but if there's 2, they will not fund the 3rd. So because we were trying to get our windows fixed because we need our windows fixed, but the rooms we had to go back and audit to make sure that those
And
rooms,
break a couple more.
so things like that, like the $500,000 for our gym floor. I've been asking for 6 years, and the response is, "Are you going to pay for it? Well, pay for it. I'm like, I can't pay half. I don't have $500,000. You've seen my budget. I don't have $500,000. I'm not that school X has $20 million in their internal account, so we don't. So it takes until it falls apart to where it is. We anticipate actually they are going to have to address our gym floor. But this is because someone in one of the Chicago Sports and Social got injured. So it forces something to be fixed.
Retinal odyssey.
Yeah, right. So we're at that point. But Friends of, like, for example, they don't pay for paint for the school. So Friends of has been helping our engineer paint our school, keep our school painted. They don't pay for it. That's why you would go into rooms and spaces and see 5 different coats. It's whatever the engineer had left. So we are having to supplement those kind of things at here to keep Lincoln Park. I can't worry about the rest of the district, Lincoln Park, to a point where we're meeting the experience of our students to the best of our ability.
With the with the security stagger times, would the idea be like in the mornings we just have like a few less and then they start a little later? So
yeah,
okay.
It's like your chunk. You got. We've been working through what that would look like. We're seeing if we had to implement it even this semester. We're kind of like tempering, like seeing what that looks like. We already have communicated to security that we're doing this.
Okay,
they're already aware.
And then again, I understand like there's certain things that can't be said, like, but like other than the 2 SEL positions, is there anything else from that we funded with discretionary money last year that are likely to be cut?
I don't, because of fees, I think we're able to offset most of that. Like I still think the experience that we should have of like how things function should be the same. And that's because we're able to charge $450 in fees and have rentals. And that's really like what we're able to do. Us not providing buses for athletics saved us this year.
I hate that.
I hate it too, but it saved us
for sure
$80,000.
Yeah,
that we didn't have. We have like basically $0 left in internal accounts. Like we will be at 0. So our fees, that's why at June 1st we need to approve fees for the year so we can already start getting those out.
So it's part of it. When are we doing that?
June 1st. Like I need it before this LSC transitions. We can't wait till July. I need to have it in everybody's accounts in June. We already start the conversation. We're gonna, tell our seniors, hey, you want your full allotment of tickets, you got it, this. But
Yeah, how did that go? What did that rake in the last week and a half?
Well, about a week or so ago, I think we were at 60, 50, 58, 60. Mm-hmm. And that's that was some of like the senior specific fees.
Right.
And we'll talk
you
more.
You won't
on
get the juniors till next year.
We've this year with our fee collection is we're over 400,000 just this year, not including previous years going back to 22 was it? No. Or 22, 23, one of those 2 years. So.
But to Ashley's point, so if we're going to approve this on June 1st, this 450 or whatever we decided is, can we have like the communication plan of like, okay, here are the bullet points that go with it? Because I do think that's helpful. Like, this is what your fees paid for in 2026. And then I also think there are some well-heeled families in the school that can pay more than that and have one of those like, we have X number of students that have waivers and don't have to pay this fee. If you can cover the fee for one of those students, like I think that's always a good ask.
A good idea.
But if you give the statistics around that stuff, I think it's helpful to the messaging, not just like we have 20% of our population, 50% that have waivers and can't afford this fee. Can anyone Can you
Yeah,
pay
a
for an
sponsor a
extra
family
student?
type.
Sponsor a student.
I think that like one thing that would probably be good, even with the June 1st, we'll have one more budget subcommittee. I think regardless, I think the continued thinking of the new and incoming LSC, you know, that I think there's certain things we're going to really just need to keep pushing at. Budget is one, like the parking lot, what you've done in the parking lot just to help us get to this position is really helpful. Like, so I think there's some things we can start targeting as an LSC and work collaboratively as a group. So if I have people helping us review the communication timeline, what does this look like? Like I have kind of a communication kind of thing, but we can work together to really streamline that and increase it and change some of the wording to be even more impactful. So I hear what we were saying is absolutely.
Will we also have a list of department fees? So say an art major has to pay, I don't know, 50, can that be 100? Like, you know, just trying to think of how we can offset some of the department costs that come out of the other funds. Because if the students are, again, utilizing these materials every single day, there's a reason behind some of that. Again, not everyone can pay it, but you can also think about that, pay what you can and support other students, you know, and those types of things. It's creative wording to get to the same end goal.
And we did it for performing and visual arts this year, and that helped really offset the cost for those programs. We know what our cost is now on average for every department. So I know how much we need to keep our. There's going to be the off year where we need new textbooks. That's where you have like a $40,000 jump somewhere. I will say we now have a really good predictability as a department. So
if you can provide any of that information while we're reviewing fees, because if there's a $5 increase, that's 5 times how many students, you know, it's just thinking about ways in which we can state the impact, what it's for, and encourage folks to.
So the question I have is, we're talking about like sponsor a student or something like that. Some parents, some families can. Could this be a tax deduction?
Why not? You're probably donating to.
Because I mean, if the money's going to anything that's like considered a 503c charity type of thing, you might have more parents, or like you said, like at the end of the year, at the end of our not the school year, the actual fiscal year, you know, people are like, oh, I have this extra money. We always do is like, what charities are we going to donate to? You know, maybe do something like that, sponsor a family, and by the way, this can be a tax. Friends, yeah.
I mean, it could be even through them where you're donating to Friends Of, and then they just give us a check. Yeah. So I think for the sake of our time as an LSC, I definitely would like, I mean, I'm saying, I think these are some great ideas that maybe separately we tease out, maybe in 5 time, like during the summer or right before we go to summer, which is only 2 weeks. But I think finding some time to do that, I can share out my communication plan that I have, but maybe even as we reconvene in July, shortly after with the new LSC, when we think about committees, I think that'll be a great opportunity to like have some targeted committees to help with these.
I think my last one is, do you know, this is sort of related, but like, do you know why we qualify for Title I funds this year versus previous years?
We've been very intentional over the last couple of years. We've been pushing waivers. You see it at Quick Start. You see it like we're documenting it. Not like it takes time to kind of catch up. 6 years ago, it wasn't really a practice for all students, and so it was just like a set of some students and some weren't expected. I expect everybody, even if you make a gajillion dollars, I don't care. You're turning the thing in.
Because it was a requirement at my kid's grammar school. Like I can't remember what they withheld, but you could not do something less. No matter what your income was, you had to fill out.
So we're pushing it for absolutely everybody. I had a timeline, and so I like every 5 weeks I was checking with our clerks to make sure that is this documented in time? Is this put in time? Like it was a part of one of the systems I had in place, and we've increased our percentage of those. There's some people who refuse no matter what. They don't crumple it up and whatever. All right, but that percentage is higher, and now we should have been receiving. The state says if you're, I think 40%, you should receive Title I. We were at 40% 6 years ago. We are higher than 40% now, and but we're able to document.
But I guess why did it take us 6 years to push that?
Like you're catching up. You have 4 years worth of entering the things, and now we have freshmen are done. Your freshmen, sophomores are done, and now
So you have to do it every year.
we do it.
Every grade.
But you're
has to do it
also
every
able
year.
to see who was previously qualified. and people that we aren't. So we went, everybody was previously qualified. We made sure we got 100% of those. Like that became our prioritized group. You've been prioritized for the last 3 years. Turn your form in. And so we were able to really push that. So we didn't lose numbers. We gained numbers over time. So, I wish I had a better kind of thing to engage with that for the principal's report, but it's really important. And I know as an LSC, we can do some really good work next year.
Before we move away from the principal report section, you mentioned an opportunity to potentially come back to the Arabic program.
Yeah, where that would come. So going back to the Arabic program, when I talk about the sustainability in class size, if I have, let's say I have 21 students who are interested in Arabic next year, Arabic 1, that means I will have Spanish classes or French classes or Mandarin classes that will be where I won't be able to keep the teacher under 140. What I would have to do is hypothetically, if I had a class of like 19, I would have to make sure the other teacher, like the teacher is teaching the class of 19, has 34, 33, 30, and that's also not a good experience for the kids to be in a class of 33, 30 something. That's also with the new thresholds for the contract pushing too far so there's contractual limitations. Like a 29 or a 30, I'm in a gray area that's not good. 31, 32, 33, 34, it's a trigger and a flag with the contract, and I can't do that. So I'm not in a position to be able to do that even with that one teacher if they were to take the brunt of it. It's not fair to the department that the other teachers have had to have a class of a group of 155 when somebody else had 70.
Well, and it's the case for all classes, right? So we're not having physics 2. We're not. Yeah. Are there other classes that are under 20?
We're able to kind of offset it. So we know we have like the 16 students who will be in IBSL Arabic in their junior year, but we also have some other students who are taking like one-off classes for like German, different things that we can figure out, kind of put together a plan to cohort the kids. So you do have a full class of students. So there's some different things that we can kind of do to offset it. So we still have a full class. We can only do that. We can't keep doing that all over the place. Now here's where Arabic can't, and the final point is we do have dual, there is dual enrollment with the city colleges. And so there is it doesn't mean that Arabic students can't have access to Arabic. It just means they would have to do it that way. And students can have an early release their last period and go to the colleges to take, and they could do it from 9, 10, 11, 12, like there's ways to do that. There are, we're looking in our diploma program, there is a program in which students can take these classes. I forget the name of the thing, but like for the physics and different stuff that students can take online. Now, I'm not trying to push students, I'm not trying to take students away from a teacher's responsibility, but if these are like additional things that students want to do, there are still those options. So again, students can take dual enrollment classes through city colleges. We get a listing of all the options from city college. We've been increasing we weren't promoting it as much a long time ago. I've been pushing it out more, so we have more students. We had one student who just got like 18 college credits over her last. So we have some students who are engaging with that more. So that will be something that we will get out. But when it comes to what we're doing,
Should be something on top of the counselors, like standard agenda to discuss with students.
Yeah. So I want to promote that.
Because I think that can also change the tune. Like, I didn't know that was an option, right? Like if parents and students don't know that that's a viable option, it's like, yes, they would want it in-house, but and it's free. You just have to get to that location, or maybe it's virtual, whatever the case may be. I think we're unable to offer it here, but here are your options versus saying no. Like, I think that there's two different tones and responses that you would get from the way you communicate things. So
I get that. It makes sense.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, like that.
I know that I'm belaboring the point. I hate to see the end of something that has been an incredibly rich experience for so many students. I know that like in an online class, it's not the same. And so many of the students that we heard speaking talked about learning from each other and the culture and how rich it is when you're in the space with other people. I think it's a tragedy.
I do too. Been fighting for years to try to, and we aren't. It just hasn't shifted.
So one question I have is, if they, let's say you have a student that really wants to learn Arabic, then you're right, they can go take it at a college or something like that. They can get college credit, but will that class count for high school?
Yeah, it's dual enrollment. So dual enrollment means
right,
they get the high school credit and they get the college credit.
Okay,
It's a great opportunity. Yeah.
And so I did talk to some of the incoming freshman families that were wanting to take. There are students who want to come in and take it, and I did explain that this is an option of something they can do. So I have talked to those families specifically, but this isn't, again, I the richness of the program and the richness of the cult. Like, I totally agree with every one of those things. It's just fiscally irresponsible of me and us as an LSC if I am not balancing that.
All right. I think we should move forward into committee reports. Thank you for that. Really substantive and obviously concerning conversation on the budget. So we'll look forward to that PowerPoint and those next steps starting June 2nd. So committee reports on budget. Laura is not here.
It's me.
Great, Ashley. Thank you.
It is me. Yes.
Thank you.
Are we pulling? Okay. So as far as transfers go, as of right now, all are under 10K. So no LSC approval is needed unless there was an additional one that came through. Confirm that. All are still under 10K, correct? So all of these are under 10K, so the transfers do not have to be formally approved by the LSC. Do we want to run through each one?
I mean,
for the
just
sake
overall
of time.
highlights, sort of closing out some things. The biggest thing you see at the top are instrument repairs that we have to do going into next year. That's kind of the chunk of the 1700s band. For the end of the year, beginning of the year, paper and supplies that we need to have. So just that's the biggest one, 5,000. There's some things we need to do to support some of our tech. The tech department, just fixing Chromebooks as we finish out the year.
And also have the Facilitron dollars for transfer to fund our department, arts department, paper and supplies, and the tech department as
Most
well.
of it's just supplies. So it's just finishing out the year supplies and some is prepping.
So all is good there. As far as the school year's annual student fee collection, to date we are at $406,487. That includes $51,000 from previous year collection. That's kind of part of the seniors and so forth. Right now, we're at about 82% of our goal, which was 50% of the total collection. So we are trending a lot better than we were in the past. We'll work on the communication plan to get more next year. So that's all accounted for. We'll probably have another. Okay.
So this is up to April. So we have $406,000 just this year, not counting May with the push we've had. So that,
maybe another reminder, like end of the year, like, and to let the less other grades know, like next year, you're going to have to pay these fees if you want to attend, your entire family to attend graduation. Because there hasn't been one of those reminders for a while.
So now we are talking about
Rentals.
And so for rentals, cell phone tower, it's about $326. Remaining funds, vending machine, $615. Parking lot rental income is just a smidge over $7,000. We have Facilitron is at $12,700 currently. And for the parking lot, right now we are showing about, like mentioned, $2,200 to $2,600 that are being collected each month since it's been going on. So far we're trending in a positive direction, better than zero.
But that's not including the
So
scan.
That is only the scan.
That
Correct.
is
This
only
is
the
not
scan.
the-
thing. Okay.
This
that
is
way.
only the scan. And then we don't have May, where we've seen like where the farmers market has started. So
It's
that's
been packed.
Yeah, it's
even on
popping.
Sunday.
Yeah.
It's been packed.
Could I quickly interject? There is a way to like still fill out the form and select $0. Like there's a way to
That's
do
why I
that.
don't like that. That's why I don't like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cheating on all that.
I don't know if there's any way to edit that, but it's a loophole. Additionally, it's been brought up in several teacher spaces that the signage that's there, while it does like say the hours, there really needs to be some like bright red text that says "Do not park here during the school day." It's
I'll talk to we'll have like those when we redo the lot, which will take place right after school lets out. So
We'll put big, towing signs.
Good.
yeah, it's once we're done, I think the week after they're going to start.
When do they start?
After June 5th.
The parking lot, June 5th.
Yeah, I don't know what that it was like right after that.
Okay.
And before our summer programs.
Did anybody tell the valet company yet?
No.
So I have June 8th in my notes. Is it June 5th?
Or in case they start setting up.
Okay.
Okay.
Where are we at? Journal entries. There was a transfer from Friends of to assist with the winter dance costs. So that will be seen in there. And then as far as transportation goes, we've spent $15,500 to date on transportation, athletic and chess team tournament, bus transportations, and so forth. So that is less than what we've done in the past. I'm hoping to keep that trend going to save some dollars as well. Did I cover it in a quick fashion? We're good?
I don't need to do a motion on that then. All right. So it doesn't look like we have student life here today.
They're thinking about graduation tomorrow.
We're proud of them, and yes,
Graduation
We didn't even get a chance to say goodbye.
they've been outstanding.
June 1st.
PPLC and PPC.
sorry. Okay. So at our latest meeting, and we've got another one coming up on Tuesday. It's our last meeting of the year, so I anticipate it being robust with several motions that have been in the works being built and passed. At our last meeting, we discussed that part of the role of PPLC members next year will be to facilitate professional development in regard to block scheduling, mostly during first semester to continue gauging interest, and then like taking another poll once we're halfway through the year to see if this is something that we can and should pursue, if teachers are going to be behind it. And if so, then starting to work more seriously with the programmer just to see what possibilities there are. And if there's not interest by the middle of the year, being like, all right, this was a very interesting exercise and we've all learned a lot, but we're going to respect the needs of the teachers and then not pursue block scheduling if that ends up being a thing. We did pass a motion, which I think is largely sort of like honorary because Dr. Steinmiller has already said that PPLC members can conduct this professional development, but we motioned that we would like PPLC members to lead that professional development. We also, the attendance and, no, sorry, I can't say words. the whatever committee I'm on there. We collected we conducted a survey asking teachers to share their experiences around like student unexcused absences and makeup work policies, and thrown in there were like a bunch of teacher concerns around how like school sponsored trips function and affect missed class time, and then like making up academic work. And basically what it all boils down to after a lot of discussion is that LP teachers do want there to be a much more consistent policy and then enforcement around makeup work due to unexcused absences. And Lincoln Park teachers also want students to have better support when they go on school-sponsored trips when it's time to make up the work. Essentially, we want there to be more pre-planning and then post-support so that when students go on these very important experiences, they also can manage the academic load when they return. We are in the process of crafting some formal motions on these matters because we would like for these things to be built out with the support of and approval of the SLT, but that's going to be something that comes up in our next meeting. And that is pretty much that report.
Hello, everyone. Okay, in terms of athletics, obviously the spring season is winding down. We've got a few sports that are still in play. Boys volleyball, literally playing as we speak in the state playoffs. Baseball, boys track, boys tennis will probably wrap up tomorrow, but the majority of our other sports are done with city and state playoffs. So we are celebrating the teams, winding down the season, collecting jerseys, etc., and turning our attention to fall sports. So planning for fall sports, including info sessions, ensuring our coaches are onboarding or have been onboarded. Information will be posted on the LP Athletic website regarding tryout details. We've already heard from plenty of incoming freshman parents who are excited to hear more information about fall sports. And tryouts for fall will start the first week of August. Football is a little early this year. The majority of tryouts will be August 10th. So that will all be here before we know it. Summer camps at the school. So we hosted a boys basketball camp last year here at the school. We'll do the same this year. And also we'll have a cheer camp and a girls volleyball camp. These are not for incoming students or existing students. These are targeted at middle schools and mainly our feeder schools. So these are elementary students. Our coaches will be leading these summer camps, but it's a great way for us to engage with our feeder schools, have our coaches here for part of the summer, and make some money for fundraising, primarily for the teams. So that is happening. The marketing to the schools is underway, obviously right now. We will also host conditioning and contact days for the fall sports. So we're working out the schedule for those teams right now, and we'll be communicating out to our existing athletes as well as our incoming freshmen. We have a new athletic director joining. I'm sure you all are aware and have talked about that, but Dr. Steinmiller can share more details as needed. Coach openings. So we have quite a number of coach openings. There's always some turnover, but we are busy working on filling those for the next year. I'm happy to say that we've got a new cheer coach, a new head girls basketball coach and a new swim coach, which is always the most difficult. So very happy about that. Any questions about sports or athletics?
Question regarding the summer camps. Are
Mhm.
current athletes assisting in those camps?
Yes,
Awesome.
yes, yes. Any other questions about sports?
I have another one.
Yeah.
Are all the fall teams coaches are all solidified, or is there still some vacancies?
I believe we might need an assistant here or there, but for the most part, I believe we have all of our head coaches lined up and ready to go. Now that we have swim and cheer filled. Okay, in terms of clubs, so all of the clubs, after school clubs, do need to end next week officially. So we're in the wind down phase for that, cleaning up all of the attendance data that has been a little bit spotty here and there. So working hard on that this week to make sure that we are as tight and clean and in compliance as possible. So that is happening right now. I do think it's worth having a conversation with the LSC at some point. I'm not sure exactly when, just to talk about what is the optimal number of after-school clubs. I know that's been a kind of an ongoing conversation. I know there was a push to add more clubs this past year, which we did, but that does lead to, compliance issues when we have too many clubs and maybe are spread a little bit too thinly in terms of the oversight of that. So I think that would be a worthwhile and a welcome discussion for next year, so that we can put our plan in place for after school clubs. Any questions on clubs? And then in terms of just a couple of other items, so our next and final fundraising sync of the year will be next Thursday, May 28th. As a reminder, this is a way to gather the fundraising entities such as boosters, FOL, together to talk about strategies and updates. Next week's meeting will focus on calendar planning for the next year so that we have insight and visibility into main events, whether it's homecoming, open house, booster fundraiser, etc., so that we can really get ahead of that, make sure that the spacing looks right, and that we can support those ongoing key events. And I just want to give a shout out to the clubs and teams that showed up at the freshman admitted night on April 30th. We had quite a number of athletes, coaches, student club leaders show up to give a warm welcome to our incoming freshmen. And that is always a highlight of the event. And that's all I have. Any other questions? Thank you.
Can we thank Miss Morris for taking on such a big role? Because you do a lot. And I don't think we tell you that enough.
Getting each of those coaches on board.
I seen her at the senior auditorium passing out tassels. The librarian and Theus was there.
On something with the
Okay,
AD position that I didn't bring up earlier, our AD also has a Type 75, which is also very helpful. So, like, if football wanted to do a special Saturday thing, he could open up the building by himself. So that gives some more flexibility for some of the certifications he has to do, some independent kind of things. So that's also going to kind of help us out too.
When does he officially start?
It'll be like July 1st. He's already been coming in, kind of coordinating with our current athletic director.
Just wondering about just
Transition.
ramping up.
What? End of June.
Fundraising?
That was it. Good one.
Attendance in SEL?
We have no information. We have no update. We have no progress, as the parent pointed out earlier in the meeting. Maybe by the July meeting, could we have a plan for next year on attendance? I think there was a software that we paid for that was supposed to be implemented and try it out before the end of the school year. Have not received any texts, but maybe my kids who are
It's
skipping
the
class
software
regularly.
side issue.
So yeah, and that brings the question, like when she was talking about, her kid had all these unexcused absences and all that, what is the school doing about it? And I'm like, I don't know how it would go that far because she would have got notified. I mean, I just found out on the way walking
not.
here, my son blew off 6th period. I'll probably come up with some story and I'll find out when I get home, but I find out right away. I find out if he's late for a class. So I don't know how that happens. And I would think that if they had so many unexcused absences that there would be some ramifications for it, at least from me, I don't know, but from the school. So that's why I'm just kind of, and I think a parent like emailed you about, I don't know if that was the same parent, but, and then you emailed going, well, I see them absent,
were
but they're all
excused.
excused. So
Well, so clearly the kid was probably somehow calling
yeah,
themselves.
so
in.
that's to me that's like, if I'm the school, I have excused absences. I don't think, so that's
Well, but you would probably say like, gosh, this student has 29. That's a lot.
no, but
Or
even
whatever the
even
number
even
was.
even excused. Like my son was off on Friday. He wasn't in school. We went to go college, but I got every single absent. It says A-E, or so I
Because you
knew
signed
that
up
it was
for the
excused.
reminders, yeah.
So I was getting notified, that it was excused. So that to me, I guess that's where I'm like, that's why sometimes I wish we could comment when people
Say, have
come
you
up.
gotten
have you
notifications?
not gotten the announcement thing? And I would show her the ones from my kid going, you would get this.
Yeah.
Well, I think that there's also other communication. Like I have not personally received the DS email that states like, here's your attendance, here's where your kid is, this is excused and not. I know absolutely positively that I should have received information about a detention from my child because she's always late to first period. You know how I know? Because I drive her. So, it's one of those things. Well, not always. It's not always, but it's consistent. And it's one of those things, whereas I know she should have had a detention, but she hasn't got a notification because I'm asking her, did you get an email yet? When are you serving it? Do you have softball? What are you doing? Like trying to make sure that I'm communicating with her to know that if you have got a notification and I haven't, that you need to serve your detention regardless of what other extracurriculars you have. And there's been no notification. So if there's a way that I can be, or there need to be more voices in that meeting, I'd love to join another committee to just try to see how we can, again, from different angles, because whether you have the Aspen or not, it's still an additional manual process. How can we help this process? Because we all want the same thing. We want our students to be in, be or better. Like we want them to have a good experience. They can only have a good experience if they're here. So any way that, additional people can support that cause or help, please let at least
can we have it set up maybe for next year where all the parents are going to get these text messages and they have to actually text back stuff. They have to opt out. Is that I don't know if that's a possibility.
That was kind of the
That's
Google
what the-
script email that we were trying to implement.
So
To say,
part of our CIWP, there is a focus on attendance as part of our new CIWP structures. There will be elections.
Is there a way that this can be added to the June agenda? No, June.
June 1st.
Not June. We won't.
Okay.
I won't be able to. I won't
With
have
the budget? Okay.
And July meeting is our work meeting. Just so you know, donation. It's work business. It's work business. Organization. It's the
Yeah,
organization.
setting up meeting schedule and committees.
Yeah, it's a work because we have the new people, and that's when we have to put our different groups. But it's
are we allowed to put other things in that meeting?
we can have a separate July meeting.
Oh, so there's two.
We can have it separate.
Or-
You've done. Then that will our June. There's two things we can do in our June agenda. One is we set the meeting. If we don't set the meeting as an LSC, then it's, but they give us a window that we have to do it within. So
Yes. Yeah, right.
technically, the new LSC is supposed to set That's a part of the agenda is when you have the next meeting.
Well,
I
they
hear
can
you.
they can set it for that day.
Yeah, I think my biggest concern when we talk about attendance is we can't go into next year not knowing how things are going to improve or
Can
be better.
subcommittees meet in July?
Yeah. That would make sense. What I would say is, because we have some about, like, there's some planning and some things that shifts on. So it's going to be just our overall needs of the school, adjusting our budget. So there will be roles and responsibilities that are going to shift a lot of
Who
it.
will have it?
What?
Who will have it?
I will tell you later.
So hypothetically, we could put a meeting on the calendar for July for our organizational meeting, and then informally, I might be able to say, set up a subcommittee meeting with, like just set it up for whoever joins the committee.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So the meeting was on the 11th, so there might be additional details that have been updated. But overall, we have 8 positions staffed. We're working towards making sure that all floors are getting the same amount of attention as it relates to cleanliness. As far as graffiti, there is graffiti in bathrooms, but trying to keep up with painting over and so forth. There are various numbers, as mentioned earlier, various number of things that are on a list that are prioritized on what we're trying to tackle first and when. So that's really just going through and flushing through what you can, when there's budget for it. Working on things such as the gym floor, what that looks like with, the price tag that comes with it. Also thinking about just like insulation paint, things falling from ceilings, just how can we rectify some of those. Volleyball nets, just making sure that those are ready for play, and that again, once the volleyball net is removed, that the surface is flat and so forth. So again, a lot of moving pieces. The staff is doing a great job with trying to prioritize what they can do when they do it, and then having the manpower to do so. So kudos to all of our facilities team. And right now I have the parking lot scheduled for June 8th. And like Principal Steinmiller said, if there is any mobilization that they have to do over the weekend or starting that Friday, school will be out. It's just making sure that ballet, farmers market and so forth know that they need to be out.
So I just want to make sure. So I'm saying June 5th, which is a Friday, to June 12th, which is the next Friday.
They're probably, I don't anticipate them working with that. I would say
June 8th through June 12th, so that whole week.
just to give, in case they need more time.
Okay. And I know, like, it could be done earlier, but June 5th to June.
Yeah,
June
I
8th
want them to try to push. So hopefully by the farmers market on Saturday, we can get done so that we can still get.
So great job. Lot to do and lot to navigate, but the team is pushing through.
2 weeks. We're supposed to go. All right. Well, we are setting up for any public comment.
I know that there's still a hand raised online as well.
Yeah, there's a hand raised.
That's,
Oh, 2 people.
I would say public comment first.
That's where we were.
Is it public comment?
Yeah. Is it public comment?
There might have been a different one. Body,
Yeah. We have public comment.
Yeah, we're good.
yeah.
Clean my own.
Body, if you're still there, you can speak.
Yes.
up. Thank you.
Hey guys, how are you? Thank you for the time. I appreciate it. I also want to say thank you so much for actually like caring about all the subjects and really like going over what everyone mentioned, but also like finding ways of how you can make it happen. So I truly appreciate that from you all. But I wanted to bring up the Arabic program, and I know that has been mentioned a few times. So if I could get my time started now, I appreciate it. So my name is Fadi. I'm a father of a freshman in Lincoln Park High School. His name is Eli. He's under Dr. Luque's class with the Arabic program, which I'm not sure if it was mentioned, but the program has been going on since 1990. So that's over, 25 plus years. But the main reason why we chose this school was specifically because of the Arabic program. Right now, I'm actually missing Eli's track meeting. He's at sectionals, but he is an elite athlete that he could have chose other schools. He's actually going to the Nike Outdoor Nationals next month to represent Lincoln Park High School as well. But just want to bring up that whenever we tried to sign him up for the program, it was actually very difficult. It was not easy to go ahead and enroll him. There wasn't really much awareness around the program. We kept getting a lot of pushback around making sure that he is pushed into this program. And then when the school started, he didn't find out he was in Spanish until like literally the first week. But he did work with Principal Steinmiller and also Dr. Luque to test for Arabic too, since English is my second language. I was born in Jordan, but I did help him out with Arabic as well. So he was able to get into Arabic too. And I do understand that there are a lot of budget related issues. I did hear a lot of the issues you brought up, Principal Steinmiller, and definitely appreciate it. But I do want to bring up the fact that there is a lot of interest in the Arabic program.
30 seconds.
Although you might not see it right now, but we did start a change.org petition, which just today has already went over 400 plus signatures. And we are already in contact with the Chicago Tribune and the Chicago Reader in order to cover this program and bring more awareness to it. So I just want to make sure there is definitely awareness about this program, but if you all can help us build more awareness and ensure that more students learn about it, especially with 6 feeder schools, I think that would go a long way. And keep in mind that 400 people have signed that petition just from the launch today.
That's our time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Amy, do you want to talk? And we may have just put her in there as part of the meeting. I think she's just. Oh.
You made it. That's okay.
Oh my
We had a
gosh.
vote. Help us adjourn the
Incredible.
meeting, Zach.
Amy, anything from you?
Yay, finally. Hello.
All right, we got you. Yes, yes. Hello.
I was silenced.
We didn't mean to, but now you are. You have a voice.
I have been listening obviously to the whole meeting and have been kind of around the block a couple times. I think that no one wants this Arabic program to be cut. For years, we have been trying to make it work. And that's, I mean, I've been on the LSC longer than Dr. Steinmiller has been at the school. And every year we have done everything we possibly can to try to support Dr. Luque Macias to make this program happen. He had over $100,000 grant money. We have tried and tried and tried again. And you know, great. I guess if you can rally enough 8th graders, incoming freshmen, that is what needs to happen. Is there needs to be those students who are committing to the program. And every year we have this same conversation, and every year the program has continued, and it's continued even when it's been under enrolled. So I'm all for language. I think it's important. I would be all for Arabic if we had the numbers, but we just don't. And at some point, a decision has to be made that this is what has to happen. Otherwise, like, we're just in trouble with the union, with, I mean, if we were flush with cash, but that's not where we are. So
30 seconds.
That's it. I also have stuff about attendance and clubs, but I can talk to you all offline. Oh, the last thing I wanted to say is you all can meet after the July LSC organizational meeting. I believe you can hold another meeting and you could meet another time in July. You don't have to wait till August to meet. So that's it.
Thank you, Amy. Help track me. Oh, Zach, do you want to introduce yourself?
We were able to vote. No worries.
Good to see you guys. I've been been listening for a little while online, but good to see you guys. Zach Opel, community rep.
Thank you, sir. All right, Ms. Tukey, was there a public comment you had to make?
And then we said, one other thing is, raise
Can we get one more of these? Can I get one more of these?
Does everybody have one of those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that shows you the things. And then in terms of students doing Arabic after school or going out to a community college for it, that's not practical because the students would have to, like, saying they have to go eighth period, you have to go downtown or you have to go somewhere. I mean, it's not over at DePaul or somewhere, you know, because
Be at DePaul, sorry.
no, but I mean, you can't, you know, it's much more complicated than that. If a student is taking a class outside of school, we'll exclude them from sports and clubs and all kinds of things. But it always sounds good, but it doesn't work out quite.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any other public comments? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, thank you everybody for really like trying to save this program. I just want everybody to know that this is for me. You know, I think like the importance of a program like this in a city like this, in a school like this, it's like beyond anything we're talking about here. And I want you all to understand that it's not my job because I still have a job. And it's not my religion because I'm not Muslim. It's not my ethnicity because I'm not Arab. So I'm fighting for this program because I believe it deserves being fought for. Now, having said that, I'm very willing to do anything. And I've been hearing things today like an overtime class that I could take, we could find the funding for, or any formula that would work. But, you know, like to your point, we need students and families to know that it's possible. And I'm really trying to keep my calm here. But when I hear things like we have been trying to do everything for years and for years, I'm sorry, Ms. Semnik, this was never a problem before Dr. Simon Miller came. With Boras, there was never a problem. So it was only after Dr. Simon Miller came. And I'm sorry, but I need to be honest. Nobody has tried to do anything except me. Nobody.
30 seconds.
And the grants that we got, I brought it, and it said that some of the money should go to outreach, but it never went. And I could have gotten a release period and do that outreach. We could have like reach out to feeder schools. It never happened. And I just have a question for Dr. Simon Miller. I know he cannot answer directly, but Dr. Simon Miller, you met with me this year and we talked about next year, and you told me if we have 20 students, there will be an Arabic 1 class. And then I heard it from students and families that it's not offered. Why? Why? I don't understand.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just want to also acknowledge Zach Curtis, who will be one of our community representatives, and really appreciate you being there through the whole meeting today. I'm sure you learned a lot. So unless there's anything else, just thank you to all the educators and the students for everything you do, for being here today, and for everyone on the council. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Second? All right. What?
Whatever, let's go.
Sorry, Zach's the courtroom lawyer. He
I
does.
better refrain.
Yeah. All right. Seconded. All in favor? Aye. All right. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.
Adjourn. Let's
with you as much as you do? All right. Well,
I don't want it. I don't have that. I don't have